Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the National Guard products number 4448S. This is a mortise mount type automatic door bottom. Automatic door bottoms do exactly what the name infers. They automatically seal the bottom of the door, and they do that when the door closes, and I'll show you that in a moment. This is a unique item to National Guard. You've got a unique sort of actuating system here, which we'll go over in a moment. Okay, single actuated automatic door bottom with a silicone seal that you see here. Silicone is a real nice, dependable, reliable, high-performing sort of seal used in weather stripping products. It's got that wavy face to it because it'll give you a lot of nice surface area contact with the floor. Multiple points of contact will help retard the transmission of, temperature, sound, air, things of that nature. Okay. Available in the site in standard lengths. This automatic door bottom is unique in that it will ship out a 1/4 inch smaller than the order size. They're assuming that your door is going to be pre-fit. So if you order a 3-foot long piece, that your net door width is 35 3/4. So take that into account whenever you're ordering these. But speaking of custom sizes, if you have need for a custom length, by all means indicate that in the comment field of the next longest piece and give us that net length and indicate it as a net length. We'll be happy to ship it out that way for you. We'll talk more about cutting this material down in a moment. Because this is a mortised type, it's only available in the mill aluminum finish. You would never really see any of the exposed face of it. Okay. Low compression and operating force. That means it's very easy to get the seal to drop down. Matches design of dual actuated door bottoms for use on pairs of doors or field size for single doors. So it's similar to standard automatic door bottoms is what they're saying. Now, an automatic door bottom, let's talk specifically about it. These are elegant solutions, and here's why. Well, first of all, automatic door bottoms do what I said earlier. They automatically seal the door when the door is pushed closed. And how they go about doing that is that there's always going to be an actuator or a plunger or whatever we might call it. The model on the 4448S is this mitered piece of material here, so that when this is installed onto the door and this is depressed, like here, it drops. Okay? Now, let's back up a little bit. There are different types of automatic door bottoms, and there's a link below this video to the product brochure, which shows this model and its surface mount counterparts. Okay. You can see there the physical dimensions of the item. Let's go over that next. On that link to the cut sheet, you're going to be in the lower right-hand corner when you're reviewing that. Okay. And before we go over the dimensions, you can see the reference there to how it's furnished a 1/4 inch shorter than the order size. Then you can also order this in a WH model, which has a nylon brush. It would be nylon brush that would stick down out of here rather than the silicone. So 25-30 seconds, so basically 13/16 is the width of the channel. An overall height of 1 5/30 seconds, so basically 1 3/16. Mortise required, they want 7/8 wide for that channel. That would certainly be ample. And then 1 3/16 deep. So talking about the mortise requirements versus, obviously the surface mount model is just exactly that, it's surface mounted. Mortising your door is, it's a straightforward process. You would need to unhang your door, and this would be really for a wood door, and specifically a non-fire rated wood door. You wouldn't want to try to install this onto a fire rated wood door because you would violate not only the integrity of the door, but the listing or the label of the door itself by doing this sort of preparation. So you've got a non-rated door, let's say, well, an exterior door that is wood, and you want to seal it as best as possible. So what you do is unhang the door and you get the door laid down. Now when I've done these in the past, I would use a plunge router, and I would set my router up so that I had a large angled fence that I would bolt to the bottom of the router base. And if you're going to do more than one of these, it would help or suit you just to make a fixture for doing this. But I would bolt a long aluminum angle so that I could tip my router down and lay that face of the angle down on the face of the door after I've ensured that as I'm bringing the router across the door, I'm not going to scratch the face of the door. And the center line of my bit, my router bit, would be the center line of what the door needed to be, or not necessarily that, depending on the size of the drill of the router bit you had. If you had a 7/8 router bit, 2-flute carbide tipped router bit, you'd be in great shape. Line that center line up and you're good to go. If you have a 1/2 inch, you're going to need to adjust, and you'll have to be able to do that with the preparation of your fence on the router base. Plunge router so that you can do a pass down the door. So you've got that fence, you've tipped it down, you've started at the one end of the door, and you just slowly go down and start creating yourself a channel, going deeper every pass, that sort of thing, repositioning if necessary. If you're going to do a lot of these, getting a 7/8 router bit could just simply be the right way to go with that. Mortise at 1 3/16 deep. Having a caliper for any sort of operations like this, the ability to accurately measure something via a caliper, I have found is, irreplaceable type of tool for doing that. Now, what you're seeing on the mortised type of automatic door bottom, it's inherently different than the surface mount. The surface mount is going to be dual actuated, meaning it's going to have this plunger on both sides of it. Okay, that will allow for a very low operating force and will allow a very even drop on the unit. The seal bar dropping evenly across the entire length. But this being a mortise mount, it's going to be a little different. So at this point, we're going to jump over to the instructions. So first of all, the warning, the red font. Maximum drop of this unit is 1/2 inch. Adjusting it beyond 1/2 inch will damage the unit and void the warranty. You want to make sure that the net height of your door, the undercut that you're dealing with, the distance to the sill, all incorporates the fact that you've got 1/2 inch of drop here and nothing more. Practically 0 you can have as well, but nothing more than 1/2 inch. Mortise bottom of the door on center line, 7/8 deep, 1.25 inch, 7/8 wide, 1.25 inch deep. That varies a little bit. Hand the door bottom. Pull and turn the beveled actuator rod, setting the beveled edge facing the stop on door frame. What they don't say is the beveled actuator rod needs to be on the hinge side. They do say it. They say it down below. So if you'll study this end, that's a hollow cavity there. And if you study the opposite end, that's where that beveled actuator is. You're going to want to physically pull and turn this out and turn it over if necessary, and then seat it carefully back in, okay, such that the beveled face is towards the stop. It's towards the stop face, okay? So that's pretty straightforward and simple. This will be installed into the bottom of the door on the hinge side, okay, and you'll ham this properly. You can then go ahead and take the included screws and attach it through all the holes that are down the entire unit. Well, here, here, and here. Now you can field trim these. I'm not a fan of field trimming them because it seems to be work that the factory's otherwise doing already. They're already cutting the material. Why have to cut it again? To me, you know, measuring the net size you need, indicating that net size when you order the material, allowing the factory to cut it. They've got the tools, the knowledge, you know, the ability to, you know, send it out correctly, etc. Or you might be in a position where the job site's 200 miles away and you're just going to cut them on the job. So keep that in mind. To field size, cut the door bottom on end without actuator rod to exact net of door. So you're only going to cut this end. They're saying you got a maximum trim of 4 inch. I'm getting 3 inch on the product catalog. I would opt towards the smaller of the two. I would allow myself up to 3 inch, being able to trim that down in the field. You're going to want to very carefully cut that. It's all aluminum, you know, that's in there, so you're not going to hit anything that will damage your carbide saw blade. Moving on with the rest of the instructions, trim gasket material to extend beyond each end of the door. You can notice here that it comes out a little bit long. You want it to be a little bit long to fill that gap. Position door bottom in the mortise with the actuator rod towards the hinge edge. There you go. Mark the holes, drill your pilot holes, attach it. We've kind of already done that. Set for proper seal. To increase the drop, pull and turn the beveled actuator rod left. To reduce the drop, pull and turn the beveled actuator rod right. Maximum drop 1/2 inch. So what they're saying is you can pull this rod out and you can turn it clockwise, and that will increase the drop up to 1/2 inch. You can turn it counterclockwise and decrease it. When you first get this installed, and as I push my finger on it, it's giving me a lot of drop. When you first install this, I would pull this out and I would turn it counterclockwise. Several turns. I would then test my drop, and I would get it so that it was just barely dropping, so that when I get my door rehung, I can begin to test the operation such that this drops so that it makes contact with the face of the floor, but doesn't find itself having too much pressure from the springs inside of here to push it down. Because as you open the door, you immediately want this to begin retracting into the housing so that you're not dragging the drop bar assembly across the floor, damaging it. Okay, you want to be conservative when you're installing it. They're elegant solutions. The mortise type is elegant because it's concealed. You're never going to see it. I have seen automatic door bottoms that have been operating for several years, and it's because this material doesn't have a chance to really fatigue or get worn out like a normal door sweep would, because it's only making contact. It's not being dragged across anything. I like these also because of that same instance. You might have a residential application and a, you know, stained and sealed Brazilian cherry wood floor, and you simply don't want a door sweep dragging across that. That's a real good reason for an automatic door bottom. This automatic door bottom by National Guard I like a lot because it's very quiet when you are operating it. You don't hear a lot of clanking, you don't hear a lot of sound. That makes it elegant as well. Air infiltration tested, certified by ANSI and BHMA, Builders Hardware Manufacturers Association. Okay, the balance of the data is in the extended description, which we've covered at length. Now, I'm partial to National Guard. It's because they have very good quality products. They manufacture the material in very respectable lead times, and very good quality for the cost, no doubt about it. Excellent technical support as well, and their sales department. They are a comprehensive manufacturer of all things weather stripping related in the commercial setting, not only automatic door bottoms that you don't see that often, but thresholds, perimeter gasketing, door sweeps. Material made of aluminum like this, stainless steel, architectural bronze as well. Any questions on the National Guard 4448S, mill aluminum finish automatic mortise mount door bottom, or any other National Guard product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you very much.